Welcome back to episode 8 of the Natty Project, brought to you by your host, Jared Moore, your co-host, Caitlin Sharpley. Today, building off of last week, we're going to dive into, we mentioned the 80-20 rule. We're going to talk about what that entails, how you can utilize it, and just kind of talk about overall balancing your habits inside and outside of the gym. So we're looking for long-term goals and something that's sustainable. We're not looking for short-term progress. We're looking for something that we can, happily and want to maintain for the rest of our lives. So it has to be something that's attainable, and that's where the 80-20 comes into play. So really what it means, and you kind of hit on it last week, so I'll let you talk about that just to get started. But in short, it's going to be balance. It's going to be balancing, your diet, balancing, in and out of the gym. But go ahead. Tell me about the 80-20, your thoughts on it.
So the 80-20 rule is where it's based on your diet, your healthy lifestyle. That's what we're using it for. But the 80% is eating 80% whole foods, clean, whole ingredients like healthy carbs, fats, proteins, basically like quote unquote the healthy, like being healthy on your diet. Hitting your workouts, going to the gym, following your routine, all of that. And then the 20% is more of the fun foods. That could be a piece of candy, I don't even know, like literally whatever you want it to be. One drink on the weekend. There's so many different ways and examples that you can implement it, but yeah, that's basically where 80% you're on your routine, 20% you're not as on your routine, not as strict, and you're just having fun. And that's how you create the balance and create a lifestyle out of like healthy living, your diet and exercise, and not so much of the quote unquote like dieting, being strict, hard on yourself mindset.
Yeah, so, kind of building off of that, 80-20 is going to be, like I said, what makes, at least in my opinion, it's what makes or breaks your progress. And kind of going back and, so I can elaborate on it, when I talk about what's sustainable and what we can maintain for hopefully the duration of our lives, or even until we're physically unable to maintain it, that balance is what keeps you sane. It's what keeps you in check mentally, and it gives you the ability to go out and make core memories and enjoy yourself. Because when we fall into a cycle of over restricting and trying to stay 100% perfect to our goals and our diet and our routine, that's when you spiral out of control. It's not sustainable. You more often than not, I feel like you're going to fall into some sort of a binge trap if that's the way you go at some point, because you can go for as long as you think you can. Maybe it's 6 months, maybe it's a year, maybe it's 3 weeks. Once you hit your breaking point, you're going to binge eat food. You're not going to want to go to the gym. You're going to have no motivation or discipline or structure. And then everything turns into an uphill battle from there. I've gone that direction. It's not enjoyable. Speaking from experience, I'm, still working towards it. I'm a lot better with it now, but we tend to put labels on foods, and we put labels on structure and things like that. Like if you see a bag of Doritos or you see a bag of organic potato chips, instinctively for some reason, because of organic or however it's labeled, we convince ourselves that one food is healthy or a good food and one food is a bad food, when in reality, yes, there's some truth in it in terms of GMOs and what it's actually made up of, but you got to be looking at that from a medical or a scientific standpoint if you even want to dive that deep. So when we think about it from just a fitness side of things, there are no, sure, some foods are better than others, but there's no good food, bad food. I mean, if you want to eat a Pop-Tart, before you go to the gym, and it fits into your macros for the day, and you know later on that night you're going to be eating a lot of protein and lower carb, lower fat. Maybe for whatever reason you're having like a quick dinner, you just need something convenient, protein, whatever it is, eat it. You just have to stay consistent with the goals. So yeah, you want to eat primarily whole foods, but if you can fit other things in and keep your sugar under control and keep everything else under control, why not? And it keeps your sanity under control. So the 80-20, if you go out on a Saturday night, you made great memories with your friends doing whatever you did. Maybe you went to the bars, maybe you went to a sports game, whatever you did. Those are memories that shouldn't be taken away just because of our long-term goals. And one day isn't going to make or break your structure. So 80% roughly a day, a day and a little over is what you can take out of the week if you want to stay consistent and stay tight. It's when you start to take 2 or 3 or 4 days out of the week where you're maybe enjoying yourself a little more than you should. And you're going to kind of fall off track with your diet and your goals in the gym. But even more so, you're going to fall off track with, everything that you have a grasp on in life. I mean, if you're spending late nights out, spending money, having a good time on a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday night, it's going to be really tough for your body to wake up and be ready to go for work at 7:30 the next morning, or, wake up and go to class. That's the tricky part, and that's why 80-20 is so crucial, not only for your success in terms of your fitness goals, but your overall health and well-being. I mean, being a college student, I've experienced all aspects of it. In my eyes, how fun is it waking up for an 8 a.m. class and going to class hungover, or not waking up for your 8 a.m. class and missing a test or a crucial lesson or whatever it may be? I mean, all based off the fact of what you did last night. Whereas if you spend, Friday night, maybe you go out, but you don't go crazy and you stay tied to your structure Friday throughout the day up until 8 or 9 p.m. And then Saturday you have fun and enjoy yourself, and then you're right back to work Sunday, You make your meals for the rest of the week, and that's the way I look at it. There are other things that go into it, but really, when you think about balance, it's what's going to either take you very far in where your goals are, whatever they may be, or it's why you're going to come up short. If you don't have the self-control or whatever you want to look at it as to ease up when you need a break or something needs a change, there's a problem. I mean, I'll go into my experience with it. When I was in college playing baseball, I tore my labrum, so obviously I couldn't play baseball anymore, and I was not invested in the gym in the way I was. So most of my days were wrapped around just drinking, hanging out, having a good time, and I fell down a trap. I mean, I was spending way too much money on it on alcohol in the first place, and then I was missing class. I was showing up late to work. It was a disaster, and it got to the point where I saw enough pictures of myself doing not even regretful, but like just things that aren't the way I see myself when I was under the influence or whatever it may be. And something changed. One night I woke up and I decided that it wasn't the way I wanted to live anymore. So slowly I made changes. It didn't happen overnight. I went back to working at the gym, which got me going to the gym in the first place to go to work. And then I was already there, so I figured, why not work out? And then it slowly turned into, 3 days a week I was drinking and having a good time. And now I'm at the point where, what would you say, once a month, if that?
If that.
I mean, right now I'm in prep, so I can't, according to my structure and my diet and, the intensity of my prep. But even outside of prep, like, if it's one of my close friends' birthdays, absolutely. Like, I will 100% go out and celebrate you that night. If it is somebody's, graduation party, or it's somebody got a new job and we're celebrating that, like, I have no problem having a drink or 2 or 3 or whatever it may be, especially on my birthday. I mean, I had
oh my god,
I had quite an event on my birthday, and that's fine in my eyes. Like exactly, it's a once a year thing. I mean, I got to a point that I don't ever want to be at, but it's a once a year thing for me. Like,
Don't worry, everyone. I was babysitting him, though.
She
was
was
okay.
She was babysitting. Outside, but I don't restrict myself. Like, outside of prep, if I want to sit down on a Sunday and watch football with my friends and drink 3 or 4 beers, I will. But at the same time, I'll account for it. Like, if I'm going to have 4 beers, that's 400 calories. I'll just cut 400 calories from my carbs that day. Because I understand alcohol content is different in terms of the macros, but I'm not really worried about macros in that time. I'm more worried about sitting around watching football, having a good time with my friends. I'll just cut back 400 calories. So that's my 80-20. You know, maybe I might do it over the course of 3 days and adjust my macros accordingly if I wanted to. But at the same time, my discipline is where I want it, to the point where I don't bank on it. I don't require it. If I need 100% discipline one week, I can, and it won't. You know, I've grown into myself that it won't have me spiraling out of control. It's when I start to go beyond that. And then the last thing I kind of want to throw in about the 80-20, you can toss back and forth, but this is from you. Yes and no. I mean, if you're going to Dunkin' or Starbucks or Wawa and you're getting a 600-calorie drink, you might want to log that, because you can't turn to somebody and look for advice and say, man, I can't lose weight. This stubborn belly fat won't go anywhere. And I continue the conversation by asking you, okay, like, what are you eating? And it sounds great. You're like, yeah, man, I'm eating, you know, a good breakfast of blah, 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 a good lunch of blah, blah, blah. I have a snack, and then I have a small dinner. And to me, I'm like, oh, well, there's a problem somewhere if you're not losing weight. I mean, that's pretty spot on. Can you tell me a little more? And then you sit here and tell me, you know, or you think about it yourself, and you're getting a 32-ounce, not even coffee, like it's a 32-ounce cup of sugar is what it is.
Was it you that showed me the video?
It was me.
There was like 42 tablespoons of sugar in a large Dunkin' iced coffee.
It was actually, like, I got chills. Because I've never been, you know, more so recently when I got into fitness was when I started getting into drinking coffee. But I'm talking like sugar-free vanilla. I'm talking stevia. I've never been a guy to drink my calories. I don't even drink soda. I'll drink, you know, diet, but I'll look at, you know, the pros and the cons there. I understand that the diet is not healthy for you. I'm not gonna.
But neither is the regular, so it's like.
And I'm somebody that likes soda. I like the taste of soda. So if I can find an alternative, which originally it was, you know, Diet Coke. I understand it has chemicals in there that aren't beautiful for you and fake sugar. But then, you know, Kate shows me a healthier version that's sweetened with stevia or whatever it may be, and that's the perfect storm. I mean, I get the soda and I get it in healthier ways. But back to my kind of coffee tangent, so many people are getting like iced macchiatos and, I mean, frosted fairy tale shortcake, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, Dunkin' comes out with these crazy names every holiday drinks. It's like, I mean, the pink drink, but you're sweetening it with lemonade, which has 200 calories.
Or when people get like extra cold foam with caramel drizzle on top and like 7 pumps of
classic
caramel inside. Plus
I mean,
the 6 original classic that it comes with.
This is crazy. Like, this is crazy that I do it, but like, when I go into Starbucks, whether I'm with you or not, instinctively when I go up to look for mine and Kate's drink, I look at what other people are getting. I'm just curious. And I'll never say anything. I might judge you a little bit inside, but I'm not going to make it known. But like, I look at some of the orders, and it's like 6 pumps of classic, like 4 creamer, 3 sugar, 2 whatever. It's like, it's this whole long list of like 7, 8, 9, 1,000 calories, you know, like, that is for an average American that is even invested in fitness. Like, Kate, for example, can I use your not your macros, but your calories here?
Sure.
Like, Kate is heavily invested in fitness, moves a ton, right? And she's 10K steps a day, and she's eating 1,700 calories a day, which is comfortable for her. Like, that's 3 good-sized meals with a snack in there. Right there in your Starbucks drink alone, you're already halfway over, probably where your calories are. Now,
I feel like I should put a little disclaimer at that, though, because, mind you, I am only 5'3" and 25
right.
pounds, and I do have, like, a lot of gut issues that makes it hard for me to eat more food, so...
And I don't mean...
Like, most people should... That's low for me. Like,
that's low.
I should be sitting around 2,000 calories, but... It is extreme. Some days it's extremely hard for me to even get 1,200 calories. And I know that's so awful, but, I got to do what I got to do. And eventually I'll work my way up. But until my health issues are completely under control, I do what I can.
2,000 is the national, recommended calorie intake, which I understand it differs. There's way too many factors that go into it. How active you are, how your body reacts when you're at rest, how tall you are, how much you weigh.
Your muscle mass.
There are a million different, are you an athlete, are you not? There's a million. Never use somebody else's calories as your own. I just use it as kind of an insert to where I'm going with that. Like, think about how active she is, and I understand those calories are on the lower side, but if Kate were to go and get her iced macchiato from Dunkin', her large 32 ounce, whatever it is, that's literally, for her lifestyle, that's half or more of her daily calorie intake.
Mm-hmm.
Not to mention the fact that, maybe, correct me if I'm wrong here, but I think it's 10% in calories of your diet is recommended or below to come from sugar, added sugar.
I'm not sure what that one is.
Meaning, if you're eating 3,000 calories a day, what's 10% of 3,000?
300.
How much sugar? It's 1 carb is 4, or 1 sugar is 1 carb, which is 4 calories. You're not getting... Someone double check my math, but way too many people are taking in far more sugar than they need to be taking in. And again, I'll go back to where I kind of want to end things, unless you have more. I do
have more. You have been talking for
I've been on a tangent. But all right, I'll leave it at this. I strongly encourage everybody to just track their macros for 1 week only.
Jared didn't even get to the point of what he was talking about,
with
the Starbucks. He was saying what he was trying to say was that you can still go enjoy Starbucks, but you just have to look for healthier alternatives. And I don't
think that's where I was going.
You know about tracking, not having to track.
That's where I was going.
Not having to track the Starbucks because the 1 pump of brown sugar is 10 calories.
Facts.
And I'm not tracking the almond milk, the splash of almond milk.
Right.
I'm not...
Or the 5 calories in the coffee.
I'm not tracking a 15 calorie energy drink. Just I'm not tracking the coffee either.
And it's not fun.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
That's what he was trying to get at with that whole story, but... It's
funny, it cracks me up. I had to go on a little tangent there, because every time I go into any coffee shop, I always see people doing it. And then you get your little donut on the side, and right there you just had enough sugar to give a kid a heart attack.
Or yourself.
I mean, sorry, I'm done.
No,
but I need you to watch your sugar.
But I was going to give an example. I was, doing the math on my phone. A lot of people, they'll eat healthy and go to the gym. They'll do it I'm going to use 4.5 as the number out of the 7 days. They'll go Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Those will be all good days, all on track. And then half of Friday, right? Go out Friday, Saturday, eat shit on Sunday, usually.
Yes.
Not people like us, but say college kids, high school kids,
or Sunday you're watching football with the family all day,
Or, Sunday, you're just eating whatever's left at the house. You haven't gone grocery shopping. So, I'm going to use the base calories of... Would you say 1,800 is a good number for somebody to be eating?
Just use the 2,000 number of the average recommended.
Okay, we'll do 2,000 times 4.5. That's 9,000. And then... Actually, I was going to do... You'll probably do 2,000 calories for 4 days. And then, what would you say, 3,000 for 3 days if you're drinking, eating out, Friday, Saturday, Sunday?
Again, this depends on the person, but I would honestly factor more towards like the 3,500, 4,000 because a side of fries at a restaurant is anywhere from 400 to 600 calories.
Okay.
And that's your side.
2,000 for 4 days.
Say 35.
And then 3,500 for 3 days. So that puts you at a total of 3,500 times 3 plus 8,000. And then I'm going to divide it by 7. Your average calories would be 2,642 every day. So that puts you at a 642 calorie surplus. And when you do 642 times 7, you're at an average of an extra 4,494 calories a week. So that means you'll be putting on over a pound a week if that is what you're at. So for everybody that wants to know why they're not losing weight but they're going out binge drinking on the weekends and they want to call it balance, that is not balance. Balance would be having a drink or two or having one meal out a week. It's not 4 days being strict, eating healthy, and then 3 days going ballistic and doing whatever you want. And then also, I saw an Instagram reel the other day, and they were talking about like tips they wish they knew as a beginner at the gym. And the one girl said there's a difference between good and bad fats. And I kind of disagreed with that because I'm gonna use carbs as an example, okay? Sweet potato fries. When you hear fries, everybody thinks that they're unhealthy, right?
Typically.
Yeah, but if you look at a homegrown sweet potato, you would think that's healthy because it's organic. It just came out of the ground. But if you get sweet potato fries and make them at your house, like the sweet potato fries that I get that literally are just the sweet potato and seasoning, it's the exact same thing. It's literally just a sweet potato cut up and seasoned. And I eat that every day. And I would like to say that I haven't put on weight. And if I did put on weight, it's literally just muscle because I'm the leanest that I've ever been. So I just wanted to put that out there because I'm tired of people thinking that there's good and bad carbs. But yeah, you know?
With carbs, I agree. I completely agree. I do. With fat, I agree. I don't think there's bad fats if you're looking at it from a macro perspective. The where I think she was going, but I think she went about it the wrong way. It can't be left at there's good and bad fats. You can't leave it at that. It's more so it's saturated and unsaturated, what your body can digest fully, what your body can't digest, what puts you at risk for blank and blank. Like,
yeah, 100%.
That was wrong.
When I'm reading it as somebody who knows all of this stuff, and I'm like just disagreeing with like the way that it's said, and there's not like a good and bad. It's just about what is better for your body, because obviously like avocado oil and like all natural peanut butter is better than like bacon fat, like obviously, but that's more on like a heart health related, not like your fitness journey, like macros and like gym sense. So
yeah, don't ever ask me about sodium. I will never listen to your complaints about sodium. Could it affect my blood pressure and all that? Sure it could, but I'm gonna use hot sauce on everything because the big fat zero on the back of that nutrition label. But hey, anyways, moral of the story.
This was a long episode.
Moral of the story. Sure, yeah. The moral of the story. I do not ever let someone tell you how to live your life. You live your life the way you feel comfortable, and if you're loving your life, by all means, continue to do it. We're simply putting out advice as to what you can do if you're looking to make a change. If you're not looking to make a change, no problem. Keep doing your thing. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you, no, don't go enjoy 3 nights of the week. I would encourage you to find whatever your source of happiness is, and if that's it, go for it.
But
don't turn around. Exactly. Don't turn around and say, oh, I'm not reaching my goals.
Right.
I'm not doing this. I'm not doing that. but then you live your life like this.
Who are
There's
people
no
who
problem
are
with people that live their life like that.
unhappy with themselves, unhappy with their lives, want to make a change, want to lose weight, or have a certain aesthetic goal, or just want to feel better. That's what this is for.
Just be aware. Just be aware. Just think about it. Every time you take a shot, that's 100 calories. Every time you drink a beer, every time you drink a beer, that's 100 calories.
Think about this. Jared had 16 shots on his birthday. That's an extra 1,600 calories.
Happy birthday! I'll see you guys in April. No, anyways, meet me in Westchester. That's it. That's where we're at. We, take it with a grain of salt. Again, always do your own research. Take what we're saying and question it. Look for a second opinion. This is what we have found to be successful. You may not find it successful, but these are also things that are factual. 36 calories or 3,600 calories is a pound. There's no...
I thought it was 3,500.
I believe it's 3,600. Okay, if you wanna go between 35 and 36, by all means, let's call it 3,550 for the matter. It's inevitable, right?
It's 3,500 calories.
It's 3,600.
It's 3,500 calories. I just looked it up on the internet.
You cannot be... Don't expect things to just roll in your favor. You have to put in the work. You have to do the research. You have to find what works for your body. 3,600 calories works for my body. Kate says 35. It's 36.
It's a fact.
It's 36.
It's a fact. It's 3,500 calories.
We'll take the extra 100 and get rid of some of that stubborn belly fat. We will be back next week with another episode of Insight for you guys.